Okay, so I was gonna make this video. I have been avoiding making this video for so long, but it's just been on my spirit. It's so heavy, so heavy, and I've tried to like slide it in, like you can do it, you can. I want to tell you guys how you have to believe not just in yourself, but you have to believe that God is going to be there for you, that the creator is going to be there for you. If you don't believe that, then the peace of God, the Holy Spirit that was left within you will not be able to do what it's meant to do, right? Which is to like express its external gifts. Prime example, this is a long video. This is a very long video. Warning, okay? Don't come at me. Don't watch this video if you wasn't planning on watching the whole thing. All right. Legitimately, 6 years ago, I was living with my mom, okay? My car was 2 seconds from being repossessed, okay? Postpartum depression. Fast forward, like not even a full 6 months. I'm getting a cervical cancer scare, okay? Money is not coming through the way I had hoped money would be coming through. Okay. Fast forward another couple of months. Me and my mom and my brother are so beefed out, like fighting. The drama is just like, normally I live for the drama. Like, normally I live for drama. But I just could not do it that time. Okay. Fast forward a couple of months. And I am literally trying to scrape by. I'm working for $17 an hour. I'm making sure that my baby gets to school. I'm not getting no help from her dad. Your girl's still postpartumly depressed, okay? And I'm just like living my best life, struggling. Just struggling, thinking that it's normal. Fight or flight. Fight or flight, okay? Fast forward, the same thing just constantly happening. And I noticed that for sure, the closer I got to God, the more difficult it became. It became so difficult because I'm a hardcore stoner. Definitely a hardcore stoner. And in order for me to not be a hardcore stoner, I had to be completely obsessed with God and Jesus Christ. And it took me down a completely different path. That's a whole nother part of the testimony for a completely different part of my audience. That's just that. If you want to know more about that, you can comment Jesus. I'll make another video, okay? I would love to tell you guys about it. However, here we are on this current story, so you're going to sit your ass down for this story time. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, so fast forward. I ended up living with my younger sister for some time. Mind you, I'm 38 right now. I was living with my younger sister, okay? My dad passed away. Shortly after my dad passed away, me, my younger sister, and her girlfriend, we fall out. That's a whole nother fucking story for a whole nother different time. But even still, everything felt like it was falling apart. Mind you, during this time, my car was repossessed. I was stuck living at my mom's. I had to share a room with my daughter. I was getting rid of things left and right. Trauma. Okay, trauma was happening over and over so consistently, okay? If you want to hear more about this, the rest of the story, comment part 2, and I want to share the rest because it's so important to those of you who feel like it's just so rough that you can't make it through. Okay, so here we are, back again. Now, mind you, if you didn't watch the part 1, go back and watch it. I can't remember everything I recapped, but I'm trying to make this as quick as possible because I've been trying to share this testimony with you guys for so long, and I feel like God is telling me if I don't share my testimony, I will be blocked from every single one of my blessings, and that's just not going to happen. So, here we are in part two. Now, at this point, me and my younger sister and her girlfriend, we done fell out, okay? This is a heartbreak that I just was not used to, okay? Because, like, I really, like, was just, like, relishing in having that extra family, especially after my dad passed away, especially during my dad being here. Whole nother story for a whole nother time. Comment daddy, and I will make sure I comment. I will share another story time about that. I don't know, maybe I'll throw in some makeup or something. I don't know. But anyways, I just want to share my testimony, you guys. Calm down. So, after me and my younger sister fall out, you know what I mean? Like, things still were just like exponentially worse, and I was just still getting more and more depressed. Like, I wasn't as depressed as I was before, but it was just like something just wasn't clicking. I was feeling like I was meant for more. I was feeling like God had me destined for more, and I just was not experiencing the more. And it was just hurtful. It was like, dang, God, like, why are you playing me like this? You know what I mean? But then, like a year ago, something broke, something snapped. And I came across this woman who was, who's like into like neuroscience. And she likes to combine science and neuroscience and God. And so when I came across that particular video, I started liking, like other videos like that started popping up on my feed. And just how science and God was connected, and that just kind of like really tickled my fancy. So here we are now. I think I was sent that video in like August of last year, okay? Or maybe it was before that. I know, I take that back. I want to say that I was sent that video. Yeah, I was sent that video in August of last year. Mind you, in February, okay, of last year, of 2025, my 2006 Malibu, okay, went down. There was just so much wrong with her. I could not get her fixed. I was so sad because I didn't have a car note. I didn't have a car payment. I was like without a car payment, just living my best life paying car insurance. So then when I got my new car, I was like, oh my gosh, like, why is this happening? Now I have to pay like more bills, like, oh my gosh. And everything was always about what was not happening right? So when I realized from connecting neuroscience and God and paying attention and just building up that cognizance of my current situation, I was able to realize that my mindset, which is what the Bible says, so a man thinks, so it is. My brain was thinking that I was never going to make it, that I wasn't going to get certain things. When your brain is thinking that way, it's almost inevitable that you will never get what you're thinking of, because you're always thinking of the opposite. You're always thinking of the opposing, right? You're thinking, or in my particular instance, I was thinking, I just don't understand why I can't find a better job. So I couldn't find a better job. I just don't understand why, like, her dad just won't help me. So her dad just didn't help me. I just don't understand. I'm not saying you can control other people's like actions with manifestation. Girl, that's a whole other story for a whole nother time. Like I said, you can comment alchemist and we will talk more about that on a live or something. But anyways, but yeah, like, if you guys want to know more about the next part of my journey in this story time, I would love to share it with you, because the end result is something so amazing. My life is so much different. I will try to put in pictures anytime that I can, but like I said, comment part 3 or just the number 3. Engage with my content, because your girl is trying to time jump. She's trying to quantum leap, and I need your help to do that. It's already started, okay? By the end of the story, you will understand. But comment part 3 or 3, and I will post the next part. I might just post it anyway, just because it's time for y'all to see my personality. Your girl time jumped. She quantum leaped. And y'all need to see it too. Tree. Okay, so here we are, part 3 of this video. Because it's one long video, but I'm breaking it up. But anyways, part 3 of this video, basically just me explaining to you guys how quickly your life can change the moment your brain changes. In part 1, I was just kind of giving you a rundown of how I got closer towards this current time. Part 2 is a basic quick rundown of my mindset at the time. This is part 3, where I am explaining to you how my mindset changed, and it literally catapulted a quantum leap. It catapulted God's blessings. It catapulted my life into where it is now. So, after I realized that I was constantly thinking about what I didn't want, I realized I had to start thinking about what I did want. But the thing is that at the same time, spiritually, I was starting to feel more and more broken. As I became more and more broken spiritually, I noticed that I did withdraw from God. I wasn't praying as much. I wasn't fasting as much. I wasn't, listening to as much, gospel music. Whole other story for a whole other time. But if you would like to hear that, go ahead and comment. I don't know. What am I going to go ahead and comment church life, and I will do a story time about that at some point. However, as I continued to have that distance or whatever, I noticed that other things were happening as well. And when I say that distance was growing there, I don't mean that I was not praying at all. I don't mean I wasn't listening to gospel at all. It doesn't mean that I wasn't talking to God. It doesn't mean that I completely cut that off. It means it just wasn't as strong as it was when I was constantly fasting and praying. So as I'm still experiencing these gifts from God, I'm not saying that I wasn't experiencing any blessings. The blessings were coming, they were just trickling down. And I noticed that at some point during that time, I realized, and I felt really bad, but I was limiting what God can do. I was limiting what the source is. I was limiting what the source can do for me. And that is the biggest mistake that I could have ever done, because me limiting what God can do, it limited what I could do. It limited what my gifts were. It limited my beauty. It limited my light. It limited my shine. It limited so much of me that it's to the point where some people they don't even recognize the woman that you guys are seeing right now. And they don't recognize her because she is not the person that they originally met. Because I had to high mask and I had to cover up who I was and I had to stop being this and that and stop smoking and all this stuff. No, y'all are going to get me as is because God accepts me as is. So if you're ever wondering about that, comment as is and we can have a live about that. Maybe we might even, never mind. So anyways, so here we are now where we're in a state in our lives where it's 2025 and it's November. At this point, I have been denied apartment after apartment. I've fixed my credit. I've done all the things to come back from a situation that put me so far in the hole that I literally, I did not even know if I was gonna come back from it, okay? I was ready to call it quits. But God just kept pushing me forward, kept making me think of my daughter and things like that. And so as I started to change my mindset, I stopped thinking what if it doesn't work? And I started saying, it's just gonna work. It's just gonna work. I don't know how it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. God is gonna make it happen. It's gonna work. I'm feeling good. It's gonna work. So that's where it was. That's where I kept going with it. I kept going with it over and over. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. No matter what it is, it's gonna work. As I stayed in that mindset, I got approved for my apartment. Now, mind you, the first initial thing that allowed me to see that God is working, that showed me that God is working through my mind, was when he gave me a new car. But I didn't look at it as a blessing, right? I didn't look at it as a blessing because I didn't want a car payment. But I had a car payment. So I got approved for the apartment. As I got approved for the apartment, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to go by my income. It's going to be it's going to be so much easier. It's not. So I make too much money. That's cool. Okay. Story of my life. I'm I never actually get help. Goodness gracious. It's really crazy how I'm so poor and I always have to, but then I was no, stop saying that. You're not so poor. You're about to be rich. You're about to be rich. And I started saying things like that. I stopped saying to myself the negative agreeing factors because, as many of us know, our brain doesn't know the difference. When your brain is telling you you're stupid, it doesn't know the difference from when someone else externally is telling you that you're stupid. It just hears you are stupid. So you have to flip that. I had to flip that. I had to realize that I'm connected to God. The great I am is within me. So I am affirmations really helped me out. Now I know that there is a huge thing about people and God and affirmations in the Bible and things like that. Believe what you want. I'm not saying that you have to follow me. I'm not saying you have to do what I do. This, like I said, this is my testimony and I feel like God told me that I need to share this with you guys, whether it's to help you get in church, whether it's to take you out of church, I hope it's not. But I'm just saying, I just feel like my testimony is meant to be here to be shared with everyone. And it's not the best. And I'm leaving out details and I'm pretty sure that if you guys are supposed to know more, maybe you'll ask the questions or maybe God will put it in my heart to share another video. But I want you guys to know that you can change your lives through yourselves, through the God in you, right? And because that's how I feel like I did it. And I continued to connect with myself. I continued to connect with all of the things that the Bible, that God tells us that we need to do naturally. As I started to do these things, as I continued on to pouring into those things, as I started pouring into myself, as I started to pour into myself, because the thing is like, I noticed that sometimes we get this weird like vibe around like being selfish. I'm sorry, okay? I'm not gonna say that I want to be so selfish that I'm disrespectful to others, like, right? Because like people have this tendency to do that, like, oh, like I'm just, I'm protecting my peace, but you're also disrespecting your relationships, right? By protecting your peace in that manner. I'm not saying do that, right? I'm saying like I am protecting my peace in a manner where it's like I have to pour into me, because I've been pouring out to the point where like every single drop went to somewhere else, and that was just crazy. You can't pour from an empty cup. And so fast forward, and here we are in January. All right, I've moved into my apartment, but I'm literally forgetting things. Mind you, in November, I was in a car accident. Okay. I've developed migraines after the car accident. I was getting lightheaded, dizzy, fainting spells, all types of weird stuff happening to me during these months. So January comes, or February comes, and I decide, because I work in human resources operations, and I decided, if I'm in human resources, why am I not using the benefits that I know for a fact is available to me? And so that's what I did. So instead of me blowing up my entire life, I was able to use FMLA, and I created a system for me to exit my job so that I could transition into going to school full time and be a stay-at-home mom. Comment part 4 if you want to know how I made my digital product that is now making me money, how I am also in a very happy relationship, and how I'm also in a better state of mind by pouring into myself, doing my hair, doing my nails. I'm also making sure that I have an actual side hustle physically to keep me busy by doing sewing and making wigs. So all of those things are going to be mentioned in the next video, because obviously, I'm not working. I'm working through you guys right now, and I've been doing it silently, but now I need a little bit more rev. So comment 4 or part 4, and we can put y'all in some more of my business, and I can put y'all on game. Cause who working? Who working? And my light about to go. Who working?